good, America? This is Reggie Florima, a.k.a. Big Flo, the sexy half of the Flo O Show. On my co-host today, Oliver Gibson. How you doing, Oliver?
What's going on? It sounded like you almost forgot your name.
I was so impressed with myself, calling myself Big Sexy today, that I got caught up in it. Sometimes you lose a little sting, but I'll get it back. Right. Don't worry about it. How's it going today, man? Did you get a chance to talk to your mom yesterday?
Yeah, I said, Happy Mother's Day, sent her some flowers and, wished her the best. And, but I was excited about this morning show because we got another Domer on. And it's funny because as I'm looking at you, I see your uncle. I do. I played with the Steelers. I was drafted in the 4th round and was there a while with your uncle. He used to give me a hard time because I was a rookie.
Let me get him on here. We don't have him on here just yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm looking at him and he's looking at me like what?
Yet. So anyway, guys, Oliver's excited, got a little ourselves, but I'm excited too. Today we have on 2017 St. Viator grad, local boy, Notre Dame graduate, played football for the University of Notre Dame, played baseball for the University of Notre Dame, was just drafted with the 43rd pick in the NFL draft, Mr. Cole Kmet by the Chicago Bears. Let me get my little round of applause for Cole. All right, here we go. All right, Cole, you're on screen. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. What's it like?
Well, hey, Cole.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, a quick question, man. So, how are you maintaining? How do you get drafted? You go through all that hype, your first round pick, and then now you got to sit on your hands. How are you doing with that whole process? Because I know I couldn't wait because it was always you get drafted, then we get a mini camp. Mm-hmm. How are you doing with that?
Yeah, it's been weird. I mean, they kind of started us off with the virtual mini camp stuff on Zoom and whatnot, but yeah, it's definitely been weird being stuck at home and trying to stay busy that way. But yeah, I know I'm definitely itching to get back out there and kind of start practicing, hopefully soon. But yeah, it's been weird to start, but you got to make the most of the time right now.
Okay, well, we appreciate having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, take us back, Cole. I was lucky enough to meet you a couple years ago. Part of the Notre Dame Club of Chicago. I had you come out to the Rocky event, and it was great kind of following your career, being a local Chicago guy. Me and Oliver both kind of followed a similar path, coming from Chicago and going to Notre Dame. Talk us through the beginning. So you come out of St. Viator, play baseball, you're playing football, and you choose Notre Dame. How'd you go about choosing Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was pretty easy. I mean, I remember going to a camp there for Irish Invasion. I think it was early on in my junior year before the junior season started. And, yeah, I knew I was getting heavy looks for them. And, they actually ended up offering me after the camp. And it was just a perfect fit for me, coming from St. Viator and kind of the community I came from. There's a lot of Notre Dame people. It's kind of funny, though. I didn't really grow up a Notre Dame fan. I got my mom and dad who both went to Purdue. And, we always kind of rooted against them when, Purdue and Notre Dame would square off. So, yeah, I mean, I took a visit there later on in the summer, and it was just perfect. It was just like everything was just perfect for me. And, I couldn't think of a better place, as a tight end and, me wanting to play 2 sports and, a good academic school and, a faith-based school. It was just the perfect characteristics in the school that I needed. And, that's kind of why I ended up going there.
That's great, man. We're glad you chose us. So, you say you played baseball and you played football. Was that a tough decision for you to pick one, or how did you end up landing on football? Because I know before we had Jeff Samardzija. I know he played baseball here locally in Chicago, but he was a great football player, and he kind of chose. And I think you pitched as well, right? You're a pitcher.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I pitch, and yeah, it was a tough decision too. I mean, out of high school, I was actually getting a lot of looks from the MLB, so I actually had to work out with the White Sox my senior year. Actually, about a month prior to me showing up to Notre Dame for summer school and football workouts, and yeah, so I continued on. Coach Kelly let me do both, and I really didn't know where I was going to go from that end. And as I kind of got more into Notre Dame and more into football, football kind of came the path for me. And this past year, I really had a really good season, and broke out, and had a lot of good feedback from the scouts this past year, and ultimately ended up choosing football.
Okay, so it came down to this year, came down to the wire. You were going to make the decision.
Yeah, I mean, I really wasn't focused, necessarily on pro level stuff yet. When I was kind of going to let that take care of itself. So, I was just enjoying being there, playing football, playing baseball, and kind of just enjoying that. So, I mean, it really wasn't focused necessarily on, trying to get out of Notre Dame and get to the next level. It just kind of took care of itself.
What was your major while you were at Notre Dame?
I'm sorry?
What was your major?
Oh, political science. I was studying political science.
Okay.
So we're going to see you on the ticket one day?
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what I'll do with that.
Okay, very good. So have you ever, you've not actually been to the Bears facility yet in a formal situation with the entire team, or no? No,
I haven't yet. So I actually was there the other day to pick up some stuff because, I'm pretty close by. I'm only about a half hour away from House Hall. So I went to go pick up like iPad and some gear and whatnot. But no, I haven't been there like formally to meet anybody yet. So that should happen hopefully soon when things start to clear up. But yeah, just kind of have to a waiting game right now.
I heard this fact after you got drafted. I know they signed Jimmy Graham in the offseason, which again, as a guy coming up, you got their future Hall of Fame tight end that gets signed over, then they draft you. That's got to make your chest puff out. But I heard they have like 10 tight ends on the roster. Do you know anything about that? Can you make any sense out of that for us?
Yeah, well, I know they got a lot of guys on the roster, and we'll see what kind of happens. That's kind of something that's out of my control in that sense. But I'm just going to go in. It's great that I got a guy like Jimmy that I can look up to and can kind of learn from this year, and be able to learn a lot of football from. He's been around the block, been on some great franchise teams, and I'm really looking forward to learning from him this upcoming year.
Great. What do you have individual goals this upcoming season? Like what you outside of making the team, which of course you're going to do, but did you put together individual goals for yourself, or what do you see your role as being?
Yeah, for me, I want to go in and compete. For a starting spot. That's always the goal. Obviously they got Jimmy there, and they got some other talented tight ends, but that's the goal going in, and I'm just going to go in every day and work as hard as I can, and try and learn as much as I can. I think that's the big deal right now is just taking a next step up in the level of play. There's a lot to be learned, and I'm really looking forward to learning all that stuff, and coming in, busting my butt during training camp, and competing for that starting spot, and giving the coaches a reason to play maybe 2 tight ends if they need to.
Yeah, they have to have that in the plans. If you got 10 tight ends on the field, you got at least 2 at a time. You got to try to do something. Maybe they're going to go for like an all big lineup. We're just going to put 6'5", 6'6" all over the field and just throw jump balls down the field until we score. Maybe that'll be the way we get in this year.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
So now let me ask you: were you always in a tight end? I see your dad and your uncle were defensive linemen, offensive linemen type stuff. And I had to say this for those of you guys who haven't, done the research on him, he comes from some good stock. So his uncle was Jeff Scanina. And if you look at this dude, he looks like Scanina. I asked him too, and I still didn't get it right. Scanina. If you could, when you were a little kid and you tried to, draw a football player and you made it, ridiculous with too many muscles and everything just looks stupid, that's like the video game version of somebody. So I know you have to be tough because if he's your uncle and your dad still dated his sister, your dad is tough as hell too, right? Because when I grew up, you didn't get that dude's sister and say, "Can I take your sister out?" Right? That dude might punch you in the face. That's how we grew up in the 70s and 80s. You don't date anybody's sister, so you got some tough blood going on. So were you ever in the trenches? Were you a D lineman? What'd you ever do?
Yeah, no, I was a DN for most of my career actually in high school and stuff. I actually got a lot of offers to play defensive end, but I really wanted to play tight end, and Notre Dame offered me as a tight end. So, definitely have a lot of defensive background, and definitely got some looks there as well too.
Fantastic.
How's the playbook been for you, especially learning it via Zoom as opposed to? Because I know the biggest challenge when I went from a college football player to a fourth-round draft pick was the playbook was massive. How are you grasping the playbook with out of office instruction? Yeah,
so obviously it's a little different going off of Zoom and whatnot, but I'm taking it in as best I can right now. I do really well with walkthrough situations, so I'm trying to take kind of the stuff and the stuff that I'm learning each day and kind of making scripts on my own and going out and kind of walking through it by myself, whether that's in the backyard or at a park or whatnot. So kind of doing stuff like that. No, it's definitely been, it's a new language, whenever you go from a new offense, so it's a new language. I mean, there's definitely some similarities that you can try to find and try and match between old playbooks and whatnot. But it's a new language, and I just got to continue to rep it out. And I feel pretty confident as to where I'm at right now. But we're just getting started with the whole thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's weird. I know you're doing everything virtual. Like, how was it leading up? So you got a chance. Luckily, we got the combine in before this came out. You had a really good combine, some really nice numbers, real good measurables. But then no pro day and no individual workouts with the teams. How was that? Was that just made you nervous, or how did that process work for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little weird. You kind of get a little uncertain as to where you think teams stand with you. So it's a little weird because you're not seeing the teams on the field. They're not coming to see you. So it's a little weird. But, I got to meet with teams over Zoom. I had about 7 of those calls. And those were good. But, definitely a weird process from what I was expecting. Our pro day was scheduled to be April 1st, I believe. And obviously that got canceled. But, definitely a strange process, but made do with what was going on, and it worked out for the best.
Did you do virtual pro day, like anything, like work out on film and send stuff? Did guys ever, like coaches, like ask you to go do some stuff and let them see it? Again, you did everything in the combine, right? You didn't miss anything, right?
Yeah, I
so
did
good.
everything. So I actually sent out. I ran some routes about a week before the draft, and I sent those to my agent. My agent sent it out, so we did a little something like that, but nothing too grand or crazy because, like you said, most of the stuff I did at the combine.
Take us through your draft day experience.
Yeah, holy cow, that was crazy. So, draft day was definitely a lot of anxiety. Come Thursday, I knew I was either going to go late on day 1 or early on day 2. So, just kind of waiting out. Day 1 was stressful enough, and then coming back on Friday and kind of just knowing that your name's going to be called fairly early the next day was also just a lot of anxiety going through. So, pretty wild stuff. I mean, when Jacksonville was on the clock was actually when I got the call, and so we all thought I was going to Jacksonville, and then I answered the phone call, and it was Coach Nagy on the other side, and we were all just going nuts. So it was a lot of emotions filled in one day, and really exhausting 2 days, but obviously well worth it.
Leading into the draft, what other teams did you think may have drafted you?
Yeah, I mean, there was a fair amount of teams in the late first, early second. I know, San Francisco had their pick at 31 originally. That I know they were really looking at me to kind of pair with a 2 tight end set with Kittle. The Colts were interested. The Jaguars were interested. The Bengals were interested. So there was a fair amount. The Titans were interested. So there's a fair amount of teams kind of in that late first, early second round area that were really looking at me.
What would you guys have done if you didn't have this quarantine? Were you gonna would you get invited down to the draft? Were you the type of guy to go to the local bar? What do you think you would have done differently that day?
Yeah. So I was actually planning out to go out to Vegas up until Wednesday, and then kind of come back home and kind of be with my family and whatnot. But so that was kind of our plans. Obviously, it didn't work out, but that's kind of what we were planning on doing.
Interesting.
So, almost Mike fatality. So I'm going to tell you a real quick story, or something, a do's and what not to do. Is when I got drafted, coming from Notre Dame, I was a broke college student. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you back now. Go ahead.
So when I was coming out of Notre Dame, I was a broke college student. Did they give you when all those other teams were recruiting you at the combine, did they give you their T-shirts?
They did, yeah.
Throw them away, okay? Throw every T-shirt away except the Bears T-shirt away. What happened was I was getting dressed quickly. I was going to put a sweatshirt on, so I just threw a T-shirt on, and I got drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and I threw a sweatshirt on top of it. Then I went in the locker room, and I forgot. And so when I went to the facility to get dressed, I took my sweatshirt on, at a Cleveland Browns sweatshirt, in the Bengals locker room. Man, I caught so much heat for about the next 6 weeks. So throw all those T-shirts away. That's just a little bit.
All right. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So being a Chicago guy, getting drafted by the hometown, again, the buzz has to be fantastic with that. With your dad and your uncle playing in the NFL, what were some of your teams? And maybe this is tough to ask you. What were some of the teams that you liked growing up, and where were the Bears on that? We're just going to say the Bears were your favorite. Just put that out there. But besides that, who other teams were you really into growing up?
No, I mean, the Bears were the team growing up for me. I mean, I'm a Chicago fan through and through. I mean, I'm a huge Cubs fan and, a big Bulls fan and obviously a huge Bears fan. So those are the teams for me. I mean, obviously, a guy, like I look at players as well. And, Gronkowski was a guy I loved watching. So the Patriots were a team that I was naturally drawn to as well. But yeah, for me, it was always the Bears. The Bears were the number one team in our house.
Have you had a chance to talk to your uncle and get any advice from him?
Yeah, I actually was talking to him down at the Combine. He's with the Redskins right now, actually. So I was able to talk to him for a little bit, and he's just I know how he is, and he's a super hard worker, and very he's a tough guy. So he kind of just preaches to me, keeping that mindset in terms of coming to work every day and acting like a professional. So those are kind of the points that he makes to me.
Definitely, yeah. He played for like 1,000 years.
Yeah, he was around for a while.
Do you know exactly how long it was?
It was 17.
17 years.
That's just unbelievable. For a lineman, too, taking all that abuse, 17 years.
Crazy.
Unbelievable. And she was a Chicago guy, too. I think he went to Carmel High School. Did your dad go to high school here, too?
Yeah. My dad went to Hershey, in Arlington Heights.
Okay, so local all the way the whole life. That's good. Play for him. Storybook, man. So I know you said you hadn't signed yet. What are you eyeing for that first purchase? Is it going to be a house? Is it going to be a car for mom? What are we thinking about here? Nice Rolex? What's up?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I do need to get a place to move into, so that's probably going to be my first purchase, I guess. So, but I haven't really thought that out too much. Looking just to kind of take it easy. I'm not a big purchaser type of guy. Definitely get something for mom and dad, but that's probably about it.
That's good. Notre Dame's going to ask you to write a big fat check to commiserate.
Maybe second contract.
Maybe second contract. Let him wait a little bit. Let him wait a little bit. See what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a strange adjustment moving back home after 4 or 5 years of school. I don't know how long you were in school, or getting ready to your first round draft pick, and now you're back at home. Have things changed at home, Andy?
Not really. I mean, it's per usual, I guess. What I'm used to when I come home. Obviously, I haven't been this home, and I haven't been at home this long in quite a while. So it's been a little. I get a little stir crazy at times, but it's been nice to kind of hang out with everybody. I don't usually get the opportunity to kind of hang out with the whole family, so it's been good. It's been good.
What are you doing to stay in shape? I mean, are you just going to the park or sneaking into high school fields? What do you guys get to do?
Yeah, I just kind of go over my high school fields, and I'll do stuff over there. And I got a gym set up at my grandma's house right now that I go to. So we'll go there, we'll work out, and usually she'll have some food after for us. So it works out pretty well.
Is there some local guys here that, like maybe some MD guys or something that you catch up with, or old high school guys, or just you and your brothers?
Usually mostly high school guys that I catch up with. I'll get some guys to throw to me that I played with in high school. But that's about it.
Anybody else that came out of St. Viator play D1 when you came out, or were you the only guy?
No, I mean, we had one kid. So my sophomore year, we had Sal Canella, who actually went to a junior college in Scottsdale and then went to Auburn. So he just finished up at Auburn playing.
Okay. No, did he get picked up by anybody, or?
No, he didn't. He didn't get picked up.
Okay, man. Well, hey, keeping up with the old guys, the old Notre Dame guys, are they doing the same thing, or how was that camaraderie? Again, I didn't get drafted, so I don't really know what this time period would be like, but it just seems like this is the time for kind of partying, hanging out, or at least being able to go out. You're stuck in the house, you can't really do anything, talk to the guys. How has it been with those guys? Yeah,
no, I know they're kind of in the same situation as I am, just kind of chilling out with the family and trying to stay in shape as best they can. But, everyone's just really anxious to get out there and start playing some football. So, hopefully this all ends soon so we can kind of all get back out there and start playing again.
That's fantastic.
Well, I definitely don't need to tell you this, but because you'll know it, enjoy this time that you get it with your family and your friends. Because it's going to be all downhill from here. You're going to be running and ripping and running all over the place. So congratulations, young man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming out, my man. Again, big fan of yours when you were at school. I was happy as hell to hear the Bears draft you and see some more exciting stuff for, I'm hard on the Bears, but so give me another reason to watch the Bears and root for them and do stuff. So we wish you the best of luck. Do Notre Dame and Chicago proud, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thanks, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hometown.
All right, buddy.
See you later,
Take
bud.
care.
Take it easy.
See ya. Thank you.
Oh, gee, man. So what's up, man? That was a great interview, man. I think that kid's the future. But you hung up on me. So, OG went out on here. I had some more to talk about, guys. I'll save that for the next show because I guess OG's done. So anyway, it's been a great show, guys. Thanks for watching. Everybody who came in live, I appreciate you. And we are out.
But now the day has come. But let you know where I'm coming from, yeah.